Hey guys, I'm Katie Room from Paraxis Press,
I'm David Room.
and tonight we are doing just kind of a productive stream. One of the things that we've been meaning to do is make a tracking system for our library so that I know what books David has and he knows what I have, and we can maybe keep track of what the kids have. And we've started a spreadsheet, and so we're just going to be going through our books and putting them in that and talking about them a little bit.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm working on something here. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Johnny Douglas's book launched today. So if you guys have not picked that up yet, I recommend it. My review was in Anvil issue 2 for that. So it's going to hit the website a little bit later. But I have read it and I recommend it. Okay. I think I'm going to do my Tolkien stuff, which is behind me. So I'll be grabbing stuff from back there today.
So I don't know. You could just talk a little bit. We can talk a little bit more about what we're doing. So
yeah, absolutely.
Our project earlier this year was to make a library, and there's nothing really super fancy about what we've done other than we just kind of coalesced all of the books from around the house into this office space that we stream out of, and also got some we got a bunch of bookshelves so that we have enough room for everything. And what we're just doing now is we have a Google Docs spreadsheet that we're putting things in. And we just thought it'd be fun because everybody seems to like book hauls and talking about books and showing books, and it's always a good conversation starter. Katie needs to do a bunch of her stuff, and she always streams in front of these books, which is her Tolkien collection. We thought it'd be fun for her to just I'll probably be putting them into the spreadsheet, which we won't show, but she can kind of go through them and we can talk about them together. And then if we decide to keep going, I have some books I've got most of my books, which are on these two shelves, put in already. A lot of the stuff, kind of with the exception of some of the kids' books, I have put in. And so once Katie's done hers, I'm going to grab, I have a bunch of books over on the other shelf that are all sort of oversized art books, video game books, stuff like that I need to put into the system and would be fun to show and talk about. So we'll see how far we get.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're probably not going to do Lego
not
tonight. So watch for a time, some other time
this week.
This week when we'll be doing that instead. But this is just a little project that we were working on together and thought it'd be fun to share.
Yeah. One other thing that I was going to look. I used to have a... What was it in here? Nope.
Isaac Anderson is here. Hello.
Oh, hey. Thank you for coming.
What are you looking for?
I used to have... You remember you helped me make that...
Yeah, that little database.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where that... But I think you should just go through.
I know,
what
but
you have.
I was thinking that it would be nice...
Because that had like individual articles and stuff in it too, not just... Not books. And you've collected a ton more books since you made that. That was several years ago.
That's true. David helped me make a little database for my notes about each about each of the things that I read from here so that I could keep track of, because a lot of them have really similar titles, you know. So I wonder where that went. It's fine. I don't need it. It just would be yeah, and like you said,
don't worry about it.
like you said, there's a lot that that wouldn't be in there. Okay.
Fiona Wolf is here. She says
Hey.
everyone's streaming tonight. Yes.
Yeah, I was on John's channel earlier, and they sniped somebody else, whose name escapes me
I'm
for the
gonna just
moment.
aim this over a little bit
That's
farther.
fine.
Just because we're probably going to be wanting more room to
More-
hold stuff.
yep, yep.
Anyway.
I will start.
Doug Wise is here. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah, you should just pull
I'm just
the
gonna
stack
start.
at a time.
Yeah.
And what we can do is, don't worry about putting them back. I'll just run them over and make a pile over
Sounds
there,
good.
and then we'll put stuff back after the stream.
Yeah. This one still had a sticker on it. So these I bought recently. They showed up in our hauls. I like copies of things. So I have a couple of different editions of these babies.
Katie just had to have those, even though
They
we
don't
have
cost
so
that much.
many very similar
That's the
copies. So here are mine, right? So I have a. Where did my fellowship? Oh, here it is. My Fellowship of the Ring is that I read as a kid is the same as her Hobbit,
Yeah.
and then I have these two towers in Return of the King, which is funny because the typesetting is like really similar, but it's different
It's
illustrations.
a different illustration. That's fun. It looks like
Well,
they go together.
actually, you know what they do? Because those are the Hobbit and that's Fellowship.
Yeah,
So,
but it's not.
so we have the complete set.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Look at that. Hey, I never noticed this before.
Okay.
Look at that. So between us now, we have the
now
complete.
It
We have the
makes sense that I should buy.
No, because this one I didn't have a copy of to go with this, but I did a couple last year I did find this. So this is the box set of the same edition.
This can't be right.
Yeah, it is. Look
These
at it.
first ones have completely different types of art, and these two have Tolkien's art.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. It's got to
Here.
be. It's very. I mean, the backs are.
Yeah.
same.
The backs are the same, and they're the same. Oh, these are a little cheaper. So I wonder if this is an earlier edition. The cover price on these is mine is a little bit more expensive.
Cover art, Daryl Sweet. This is October 19th. June 1983.
Cover price on that one?
$2.95.
Yeah, see, this is $3.95. So these must be a little bit later.
It's the same cover design, different art.
No, 1983. 1986 is
Ah.
this. What's the printing on yours?
It was let's see, this one's January 1982.
Yeah, okay. So those are actually a little earlier. That's funny though. I didn't notice that we had.
Yeah. 83.
See, as a kid, I found these two at a book sale once, and I bought them, and I never had a copy of Fellowship. So I repeatedly remember checking out Fellowship of the Ring from the library and trying to read it and never finishing it. And then I finally got this copy, which I love this illustration. This is Tolkien's own illustration of Hobbiton. That's one of my favorite of his illustrations. I really wish I could.
It's beautiful.
They sell actually a poster of this, like an official poster. I'd like to get some time. But
I like Hobbiton, but this one of the barrels going down the river is definitely one of my favorite like scenes that Tolkien did. Did you already put those in the system?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Why don't we just set these aside first, and we'll focus on getting your nonfiction stuff in, or should I get them? I can work on getting.
I've got everything on this side except for the oversized stuff is by Tolkien.
Okay.
I could do this shelf first if you think.
No, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. I'll work on it.
Doug Wise says rare to find because they're all in your library. Okay, this is kind of a fun set that I bought. So here's the Fellowship. This was one I was like, this is just too weird. I have to buy it.
You got to give me a chance to do this. It's not
Yes,
going to be instant. Because we have so many different editions of these, I have to put the additions into the notes.
Yep.
That's kind of why I was saying that, because a lot of the other books are just, we don't have multiple versions of it.
Right. The Hobbit's my favorite, so this one's hardcover. I forget what it's got for illustrations. Just Tolkien stuff. It's kind of got a nice typesetting though. It's just fancy.
I'm just putting the publisher and the date of printing in for these.
Okay, that
And
sounds good.
We can go back and differentiate them some other way later.
Yeah, that sounds good. I wonder who did the cover art on this one.
And you got to watch the chat because I can't see
Yes,
the
sir.
chat while I'm entering this stuff.
It doesn't say. And then I got the annotated one.
What did we want to call the shelf that these are on? Because you called that one C1, and is that one going to be C2?
I think so.
Okay, so should we say C3, C4?
Yeah.
Okay. And these are pulling from that shelf, so that would be C3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick says he's here. He's going to speed run to live.
Well, you didn't miss much so far.
So this was Douglas Anderson annotated this. It's got some really nice. It's got a lot of pictures. Some of them are in color. It's got like, you know how books used to have like this middle section that's in color? That's how this one is. Okay, I think I'm done with The Hobbit.
Okay, you got to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Well, don't just sit there. Do something.
Do something. Middle Zealand. So here's some of the little books. It's Mr. Bliss. This one has not gotten a new publication as far as I know. So this is a nice copy.
It must have gotten a new publication by now.
I haven't seen it. This one has type on one side and Tolkien's handwriting on the other.
Yeah, they had a copy of that in the library when I was a kid that looked the same way.
And each page has a little illustration, just a tiny. So he turned sharp to the right at the next turning and ran straight into Mr. Day, coming from his garden with a barrow load of cabbages. This shows what happened. This reminds me of Avatar. And then this one is Smith of Wootton Major.
So this is
Wootton?
the publisher and year of this. This is Quality Paperback Book Club in 1995.
Okay.
That's what this edition is. And I guess that is Houghton Mifflin. But some kind of book of the month club edition, which is kind of interesting. The typesetting on the inside seems to be like the same. It looks like a facsimile of the other ones, right?
Yeah.
It's not. I recognize the font and
Mm-hmm.
where things are on the page, but it's just really weird covers.
I like this tiny book size, you know. Patrick says, greetings from the past. It was scary back there. Hope you guys have it better in your present. He says, you guys are going to have more copies of Lord of the Rings than I do War of the Worlds. It's just really nice. Who did the illustrations for this? Pauline Baines.
You know who that is, right?
I don't offhand.
That's the woman who did the illustrations for Chronicles of Narnia.
Ah. It's a very classic children's illustrator look.
We've got other books that have these illustrations in, but there's
Yeah.
the Hobbiton illustration from that cover of Fellowship of the Ring that I have.
I'm pretty sure I have this story in a collection, not an anthology, a collection as well somewhere. I bet it's in this one actually. Tolkien Miscellany. I like the art on this one too. I like that Tom Bombadil is right there. Farmer Giles of Ham, was always my favorite, and Roverandom. Yes, I have those. They're coming up. I got newer copies of those. Yep, the very first thing, Smith of Wootton Major, Farmer Giles of Ham. This is the only one that I have. Oh no, I have Tree and Leaf in another. Is that over there? I lent it, and it just got returned to me. So I have.
And I have a copy of Tree and Leaf. Did you? You didn't get a copy of Tree and Leaf from that book sale, did you?
No,
I think
I got stuff like this.
The only copy of Tree and Leaf is mine, I believe. And Tree and Leaf isn't a story; it's a book.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
collection.
So it's in the miscellany as well as the Tolkien Reader.
But Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So the pair is in there
Mm-hmm.
because tree and leaf is not one
Right.
thing. It was the name of a published collection.
Yeah. Yep, on Fairy Stories and Leaf by Nickel. So this has The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight as well. And this one,
We're still on that first shelf, right?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
has an article by Peter Beagle, Tolkien's Magic Ring. The Homecoming of Bjornoth, Bjorthelm's son, Tree and Leaf, Farmer Giles of Ham, and Adventures of Tom Bombadil. That's just some slight difference there,
Oh,
as
this
well as
one-
that little article.
This one is old. This is 1967.
Yeah, that one came from that sale.
Yeah, you want to talk about that sale a little bit?
Goodness. So we were at the Minnesota State Fair, and David was off with some of our friends, and my mom called, and we were in one of the buildings it was like that roundish one that has like spokes coming off of it for these different they're like mostly agricultural stuff. Like one is all like corn, and then there's
None of this has anything to do with
I'm setting up the story. Anyway, so she called me and I was there. I have this very vivid memory of being surrounded by people, all of this activity. And she says, there's an estate sale down the road. I'm in the basement. It's chock full of books. And there's a whole bunch of Tolkien stuff. Do you want it? I said, yes. Yes, I want it. So she came away with probably a dozen or more books. One of which is this bad boy. I couldn't believe it.
Just explain why that's
This is
significant. Not everybody knows why that's significant.
This is The Monsters and the Critics. The famous essay by Tolkien. Beowulf, The Monsters and the Critics. And then several other things are in here as well. On Fairy Stories is in here. But this in hardcover is really, like, you just can't get it.
Here, you keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay. Or you couldn't at the time. So I'll put that down. Sorry. Oh, hi to John A. Douglas.
Yeah, it's like $100. The original copy. There looks like a penguin version of it or something now that's like $20.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, there's I don't know, that's the UK edition. I don't know.
I just remember trying to find it when I was writing college papers and being like,
It could be something that it's not really rare, it's just hard to find.
Yeah. I was super pleased. So that I'll put this, since I've talked about it now. Patrick suggests I should be mad at my mom for having to ask. Okay, let's see here. Oh, these just make good gifts. So I've gotten several from David. I think Baron and Luthien was one. He bought me one year.
Yeah, the past few years they're like every year around Christmas time
So
or before
beautiful.
Christmas they put out a new
Yeah.
thing that they've coalesced together from his notes. Kind of questionable, right? Because Silmarillion was already assembled from incomplete notes, so it's
Mhm.
all of this stuff is just expanding out
Yeah.
a chapter of the Silmarillion into a complete book. Although I liked Children of Hurin a lot. That's one that I have that belongs to me.
Yeah.
That one was really good.
Obviously, this is illustrated by Alan Lee. But yeah. And then I have, there's too many vowels here. The Lay of Outro, True, and Idrone. I know I'm butchering that. Edited by Verlyn Flieger, which I'm pretty sure I have some of her writings in here somewhere. There's a picture of the first folio of the manuscript.
Did we say? Yeah, you said hi to John Douglas.
I did, yes.
He's got a question for you.
Oh. Katie, was there anything you wanted to say that got lost in the shuffle on my stream? I wanted to talk more about your book, but you know, you get a bunch of people in one space and hanging out, and the conversation goes all over the place. So Patrick says, is there a good book suggestion on the history of Tolkien and the writing of Lord of the Rings or his work that you all like? Oh, goodness. Probably have to go with Shippey. Although the Carpenter's biography is a must. Where is that? And his letters.
You done
Yeah.
talking about these?
Yes. Yep. And yeah, it was the gentleman who had collected all that had died, right? So it was his estate sale, and the basement was unfinished, walkout, and just had shelves. It was like a maze in there. I got a couple of other things too. I got a couple of old Doctor Who books, not fiction, but like talking about like classic Who. So that's kind of cool. That I should say, my mom grabbed me all of those books, and then when, like, I don't know if it was later that week or the next weekend when we went to visit my parents, they were doing another or like a continuation of the same sale, and so I was able to go and look personally at some things too. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but on the other hand, right, like his family didn't want those, and I did. So they're going to somebody who shared his enthusiasm for that kind of a thing. John says, yeah, I gotta stop having voiceover when I want to do the majority of the talking. He is a master distractor, yes. Tolkien This translation.
This is good to look at all this Tolkien stuff because I know there's a few of these that we don't have yet.
Yeah,
We don't have the Fall of Gondolin, I don't think.
we do not
We
know.
don't. And do you have the Beowulf?
Right
Okay,
here.
that's it right there. Yeah.
And I was going to look because Anne was asking if Tolkien's essay on Beowulf is in here. And it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I'm sure they figured out a way to put that into a separate book so
Yeah.
they get more money out of it.
No, it has an introduction to the translation, notes on the text of the translation, introductory note to the commentary. So, and the commentary is not about the monsters and the critics. It's about like the translation, I believe. Yeah. Together with Selig Spell, edited by Christopher Tolkien. Yes, one day we will all have a pile of books left, no one knowing how difficult they were to squirrel away or their value. Right. I just hope that my children appreciate that that physical books have value, right? And do want them, and not just like open up my library to the public, right? Like, because the thing was chock full. It's not like some of his collection was set aside. It was like all of it. I don't know. But
well, if they didn't want it, they didn't want it.
Right. Here's Farmer Giles of Ham and Rover Random. It's a nice little set. They're all the same height, about the same width. I like Farmer Giles of Ham. Rover Random's fun too. It's about a dog. Oop.
Kind of random though.
I got 2 half-price bookmarks in there. So that must be where I got it. Tolkien's illustrations are so fun. He never does like normal things with the sky. These are both edited by the same pair of editors too, so that's nice. Even they don't like the cover layout is not the same. Art's not the same, but Patrick says, I plan to get buried by my collection as I was reaching for the last one I needed to read in my collection. So close. Oh, The Nature of Middle-earth. This one. This is late writings on the lands, inhabitants, and metaphysics of Middle-earth. So this is Tolkien.
That is a book that I want to read. Of
Yeah.
all of these, it's probably one of the ones that I'm the most interested in reading.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some interesting stuff in there because he actually talks about gender, and there's one chapter about gender and sex here, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's not something that I would say is a huge part of Lord of the Rings. Certainly there are, marital relationships and stuff in Lord of the Rings, but it's not really like a theme or something that Tolkien seems to tend to make things about. So it's kind of interesting that there's some writing about that. In this
Gender
one.
and sex. This text, found among Tolkien's linguistic papers, where it is located in a large group of printed Allen and Unwin notices dating from late 1968, is written in a clear hand in black nib pen. It's just a page and a half. It's kind of fun though, right? Like someone collected sort of his like nonfiction pieces, right? We have a lot of books of his fiction pieces that have been fleshed out a bit.
I mean, they're all
but-
nonfiction about
right.
about
That's,
Middle Earth.
yes.
They're like encyclopedia articles more so than Silmarillion
what I
is
mean, yeah.
encyclopedia articles.
Speaking of the Silmarillion, here's my.
Yep, and I also have the same copy of the Silmarillion, but mine, the dust jacket, is ripped all the heck, and that's how it was when I got it. So I still have the dust jacket. I just don't keep it on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the really cool thing about this, which Katie is folding out, is the map. So like when you see these old editions of Lord of the Rings, buy them because they all have these gorgeous maps in them. And I'm always tempted to like, you know, actually cut one of them out. I can never bear to do it, but we actually have a few copies of these books at this point with the same map. So someday I'm going to do it. I mean, they look 10 times cooler than any official map that you could buy nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. So this one looks like a 1977.
I think that's the first edition, right?
It says there's a foreword that says
I'm almost positive that's the first edition.
the
Probably.
Silmarillion, now published 4 years after the death of its author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first. Is that the first printing too?
It looks like it.
Does it say? I mean, it should say. I'll look at it.
Yeah, the Silmarillion cover. I didn't see. It doesn't say who did the art for it.
The art on the
front.
It's probably might be Quackenbush.
Jacket drawing by J.R. Tolkien, colored by H.E. Ridditt. So I guess Tolkien drew that. And it was colored. Patrick says, I backed a heavy edition of War of the Worlds recently, and it adds a things were racist back then, and so was Wells, so I feel bad about it. I'm still considering the X-Acto knife. But my Dutch collector side is telling me different. All right, I have 2 copies of this guy. This is the one from my college class. I don't know if I ever...
Just something about this one that I think is notable. It's not edited by Christopher Tolkien anymore, and that's because Christopher Tolkien is dead now. So that's the little lifespan of Christopher Tolkien there.
Okay.
And this Farmer Giles and Hammer, however you pronounce it, this is edited by Skull and Hammond. They edited a lot of the collections of Tolkien's visual art. So I've got multiple visual art books, and then I think probably your art one that you got is by them too. There's several good editions books that collect Tolkien's art all in one place. That's probably a good one, but my guess is that one doesn't have everything that my two like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings ones have in, because
Could
they're longer.
So this one is the one with the new expanded index, which was helpful. Edited by Carpenter with the assistance of Christopher Tolkien. This is the copy that was in that basement. And it does not have that index, but it does have a random newspaper. What is this?
So this looks like the 5th printing.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know how you can tell this. Do you see these numbers? You see these numbers here? Where it says P
Oh yeah.
109876. So what they do is they make the plate with the numbers going like 1098765431. And for each printing, they just etch out the or modify the plate so that it covers up numbers. So you can see that this would be the actually it's either 5th or 6th. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but that's how you can tell.
You guys, this is an article by Shippey, a philologist in purgatory. He clipped this out of the newspaper and stuck it in here.
I don't know if it's a newspaper. It says TLS
I don't know.
August.
Cut out of something.
Did you show this one already?
So it's like it must have been. Yes, I did.
Okay.
So that's fun. They're re-releasing the letters with new stuff. I don't know. I mean, I have to buy it, right? But I already have 2. And Carpenter and Christopher Tolkien were very intentional about the stuff that they chose to put in these. I trust the current estate a lot less. I think that a lot of people think, well, we should know even the stuff that is less wonderful about him. We should still know. But I think that there someone like Christopher Tolkien, right, should be able to say, well, this is what I want my father's legacy to be, and not and that shouldn't just change because someone else takes the reins. Like
I kind of disagree.
You do?
Yeah.
So, well, like another one that would be sort of an example is like the Anne Frank diary, right? Her family said, we don't want to release certain parts of it. And then that's the end of it, right?
Except didn't they do that later?
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, any historical figure with enough time, all of their dirty secrets or whatever are going to come out, and you can't, their work is going to have to speak for itself.
Yeah.
And their life is going to have to speak for itself, and you can't control it. I mean, it's not the facts about somebody's life aren't, and the narrative of somebody's life isn't intellectual property that can be controlled once a journalist gets it or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. David found this. It's a little storybook, and it has the Disney little mini record. AON.
Yeah, anime AON.
This is some really nice.
We need to actually watch that. We've got it
Yeah.
on DVD. Haven't seen it yet.
See the pictures, hear the record, read the book. Okay, getting in the big stuff here. This is beautiful. This is just an illustrated version of Bilbo's Last Song by Pauline Baines again. Yeah, just really nice. Trying to pick a good one. It's all. There we go. Isn't that nice? Now, each page is like this with a image in the circle, and Bilbo in the corner there changes position throughout the story. And then there's different pictures underneath that bar. Like here is Gollum, Riddles in the Dark here. And says there's an era of the life and lies of Albus Dumbledore when people who dislike someone come out with truths. Not that I don't trust Tolkien to be a stand-up guy. Same.
I mean, I think it doesn't matter though. And that's kind of why I object to the idea that people should be able to control the narrative, because whatever, like, there's always going to be someone, there's always going to be something that somebody did or wrote that somebody is going to find objectionable.
Yeah, I know, like, it's not the narrative that I'm talking about. I'm talking about like somebody's legacy, but I understand what you're talking about.
In my opinion, if you don't want something found out after you're dead, you shouldn't write it down.
Okay.
Right. Like if you don't want, like if you don't want your secret fetishes or whatever to be found out, then don't write them down or store them in some way that people aren't going to find out.
Yeah.
If you make a piece of writing and you're famous, then you can kind of assume that somebody's going to figure it out or somebody's going to read it once you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not famous, somebody might read your writing when you're dead. So yeah. I don't know. And I mean, surely Tolkien knew that his work was worth money and that his family would publish it after he was gone when he was alive. I mean, Lord of the Rings The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings were a financial success in his lifetime. So he had seen maybe not the vast scope of the success, but I mean, it was taking off and everything in his lifetime for sure. So
yeah. Charles Dickens, The Hobbit graphic novel. If you guys haven't seen this.
Oh yeah, and that's Chuck Dixon, right?
Yeah, Chuck.
Yeah.
It says Charles, so I said Charles.
Yeah, it's Chuck Dixon.
Here's the Finding of the Ring. It's absolutely gorgeous. Smog. Oh, thanks for dropping by, Jen. Patrick says he doesn't want people to all of a sudden hate me after he's dead. I want to be based enough for the man to want me dead and happy when I go.
I think some of that's inevitable, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're gone and you can't speak for yourself anymore, your enemies are just going to say stuff about you.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is, you should try to leave behind enough of a positive, like if you're an artist, right, and you want your work to be looked at, you should try to leave behind enough that people appreciate, that outweighs whatever they're inevitably going to drag up about you. Like if you look at Lovecraft, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just in vogue now to talk about all of the terrible things that Lovecraft thought, and he wrote some poems which were a little bit uncouth, and his cat is called the N-word and everything. But I mean, in my opinion, it's undeniable the influence that he had and the wonderful things that he created. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so he did this terrible stuff. I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to deny it. You don't have to hide it. It's
Yeah.
not like it would have been better if it never came out, that because that's part of who he was, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's fair to want to know who people were, and as much as they left behind things that could let them be known. I don't think it's fair to sit and speculate about people, like, okay, like if you didn't write down stuff about your secret fetishes, then it's not the best for people to speculate about it or try to read
Mhm.
between the lines or things like that. But I mean, if you wrote it down, I think it's fair game.
So this is my Tolkien art book. It's in a box. This one is actually selected and noted by Christopher Tolkien. So it's not that the editors you were talking about. And I've shown this on stream before. It's the Gates of Moria. There's I don't know if you guys can see, there's a tentacle in the water.
Yeah. So this is basically,
Old Man Willow.
and see, I want to sit down and compare, because you went and bought this, but I have this other book that is by Hammond and Skull that is kind of the same thing, although this looks mainly like just the illustrations without much commentary.
Yeah, the notes are very, very.
Yeah. Whereas that's kind of fun. It has these little heraldic devices. These are actually on the box set that I have. The Hammond and Skull, the Art of the Lord of the Rings and the Art of the Hobbit, they have more discussion about the process and his writing about his art, and like why he made certain pieces, because a lot of that stuff was illustrations that he made intending to put into the published book, and they talk about the process that he went through.
Yeah. So there's quite a few of these where like Tolkien's drawing is on one side and then the colored version is on the other. And it's by that same guy who I forget what book we were talking about. But Riddit is his name. And it says the colored version first appeared in the English Deluxe Edition. And also in the Tolkien calendar from 1979. So cool. Some of them that like you just don't see around because they're more sketchy. So.
Interesting. So I was just looking at this Hobbit, and it was originally published in 3 volumes by Eclipse Books. So Eclipse, that's comics. So it was originally published in like a
smaller.
Yeah. I mean, they would have been probably, because this is fairly long, they probably would have been like 64-page issues, not like normal 24 page or whatever, but it would have been originally published as a comic publisher.
I have a couple copies of this one. This one's faded because it's tall. You cannot, I don't know if you guys can see, but like the fading is primarily where it would be above the other books. This is from the basement. Just beautiful. It's a classic. This copy is one of the older ones, obviously. So I think some of the newer ones have additional letters.
Oh, this was first published in 1992.
Okay.
So
This is handwriting. Christmas. Just beautiful. And he would do just like this kind of stuff. It's just awesome.
Oh, and this has got Father Christmas stuff in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I have a nicer glossy copy that's not suffering that I have with my Christmas books. So this one stays with my Tolkien stuff. All right, got my oversized stuff. Kind of a random mix of stuff here. This is a present. Dictionary of Tolkien by David Day. One of the nice leathery ones. It's same content as usual, you know. Encyclopedia with pictures.
I like the illustrations in those David Day books a lot.
Yeah. Me too. I think if I was ever going to get tattoos, I'd probably get sleeves of these. Where's the classic? I can't find it, of course. There's this one, the orcs.
Mm-hmm.
That one you see a lot. But that sort of style, you know, I think that's cool. Smog.
Smaug.
I'm not saying it that way.
Smaug.
Okay. Kind of fun random stuff here. I grabbed this early on. This is The Hobbit. It's the OneRing.net collector's edition. There's some serious issues with these movies, but they were coming out when I was in college, and the second one was it came out while I was in the Tolkien class, and I had some theories, and they were proven correct about how it was going to play out, particularly about the spiders, which is one of my favorite parts of the book. So this is one of the cool articles that's in here. It's about the animation of the Rankin Bass Hobbit. That's fun. This one is, I don't know where I got this. I think probably a store. Special Newsweek edition, J.R. Tolkien.
I'm not gonna put this with books.
That's fine.
Actually, all the stuff we can put separately.
So this just has, pictures, and it's fun. I like this kind of thing. The Two Tower best lines. It's fun. It's just fun. This one's one that I actually bought. Or did you buy this for me?
No, you bought it.
This is the special time edition.
You got that a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah.
These things are such a ripoff.
From literary masterpiece to Hollywood blockbuster, the inside story of a pop culture phenomenon.
It's all just unofficial.
Right.
Just who knows.
Well,
Probably just half of it's made up.
it's like the Tolkien movies in here. It was just like a long section that's, in his own words, snippets of writings and musings from the master storyteller himself. So it's all just quotes basically from his letters. There's a bit in here about the 1960s, right? Alice in Wonderland. Angus McBride's Characters of Middle-earth. 29 full-color plates accompanied by game statistics for characters from J.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, for use with Middle-earth role-playing, Rolemaster, and other major FRP games. Lack of singing in Mirkwood was highly disappointing. They didn't sing in Mirkwood, did they? Singing in general, though, for sure. Yeah, some really nice.
This is where the Pondering the Orb picture is from, this book.
Yes. Let's see if I can find that.
It's on the back.
I know
I'm sure it's in the book somewhere, too.
There it is. Bum, ba-dum. Yay. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you. I forgot.
What?
It's one of my favorites, too. Bilbo sang at the Spiders. There is, so Black Rider, but this in the back is The Last Homely House, which is not at all similar to the Rivendell that we were building in Lego. And here's another role-playing book, Fell Beasts and Wondrous Magic. This one's a little more like movie oriented, right? So there's a lot of pictures from the movies, art, movie inspired. There's some other stuff in here though. Like here's the Barrow Whites. I think that's kind of fun. Got a vampire in here too. What is that? It was the Pelagrog. This guy. Patrick says, are there music Tolkien fans who fight how to sing the songs? I, with zero musical talent, break out in cold sweat when they pop up in my reading with my daughter.
Kind of an official book, and that's
There
one of the
is.
books that's not on your shelf.
No.
But I have it over with my sheet music, which has choral settings of a lot of the songs. In my opinion, they're nothing really too special. So I wouldn't waste any breath arguing that those are the real things, but that certainly, if you're looking for an official published thing, that would be it.
All right. Got several David Day books here, but I've got some other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first one that I bought. Probably the. I don't know if this. But I bought Guide to Tolkien's World of Bestiary. So that's it's got some really gorgeous art in it. And that's why I bought it, of course. See if I can find that picture that I'm thinking of. Oh, here's the Ents. There is a music book and says, and the audiobook I had with Rob Inglis had a proper tune for everything. Dark Tower of Mordor. They're just beautifully illustrated. There's Galadriel. I feel like I know that it's in this book, the picture that I was thinking of.
That you want to get a tattoo of?
I'm not going to get a tattoo of it.
What is the name of that book?
It's David Day. It's a bestiary. Here, I'll pass it on. These ones are official. This one's Realms of Tolkien, Images of Middle-earth. This one... It's got a bunch of illustrators.
But that's a more official one.
It is, yeah. Actually, only 2 of them are by Alan Lee. Oh, 2 of them on the first page. There's a whole bunch more. And then John Howe, of course. And then, but there's a whole bunch of others, like Ted Nasmith. This one's beautiful. Theoden's charge at Helm's Deep. So, and then this one's Tolkien's World Paintings of Middle Earth, also official. Lots of Howe, of course. And Roger Garland. Last Words of Boromir. Just beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Oh boy. Okay, more David Day. Tolkien's Ring.
How many more books are back there?
5, including this one.
Okay.
This one I bought because I was doing a paper on I don't remember anymore, but I was interested in what he had to say. It's a little bit more verbose than his usual stuff. So that's that. There's a lot more text, a lot fewer pictures. Tolkien, the Illustrated Encyclopedia. I think this one was a gift. Genealogies. A little bit different art style. Tolkien Treasury. Stories, poems, and illustrations celebrating the author and his world with essays by people. So this is over on that shelf because...
Oh, this is Alan Lee. This one.
Yes. Yep. This one's over there because it's oversized. It's got Edmund Wilson's "Ooh, Those Awful Orcs" article, which, if you're familiar with Tolkien criticism, that one comes up. Mostly because he's more critical, right? Somebody who's not a fan. How could they? But it's not stuff by Tolkien, right? A Tolkien treasury, but it's nothing by him. So that's over there just because it's oversized. Sorry.
Side I'm doing these.
And this is also by David Day, The Hobbit Companion. Exploring the brilliant web of verbal hocus pocus that J.R. Tolkien delightedly spun in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Master Hobbit investigator David Day reveals the myriad crafty puns and riddles, hidden meanings, and mythical blah, 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 blah. It's all the same kind of which I bought for my paper to have something to reference. So it is The Desolation of Smaug, art and design of the movie. So there's quotes in here from directors, costume designers, actresses, set design, stuff like that. And there's Just beautiful, beautiful pictures, illustrations, right? Look at the color in that. Did that show up in the movie? No, it did not. There's lots of really fun pictures of weapons and armor and spiders, because that's the movie that had spiders. Let's see if I can find the...
Oh, nice. Did you see that this one's autographed?
Oh, I did not.
Yep.
That's cool.
See that?
Oh, yeah. How fun. I have a book autographed by David Day. That's pretty cool. I wonder where I got that.
This one's kind of fun. There's a lot of interesting typography in this one.
Yeah.
And
think so.
diagrams.
There's some nice stuff about orcs, like the design, not just of what's his name, but
Yeah,
then,
this is kind of a standout one.
yeah. Yeah. So that's why I got this one. And it's got some really cool stuff in it. So I don't have any of the other ones because, of course, they made one for each movie. But all right, that's that shelf.
All right, I think we should call it here for tonight because we've been going for
Oh,
quite
it's
a while.
11:10. So that shelf, other than the big stuff, oversized books, was things that Tolkien actually wrote or it has his actual texts. This shelf here is stuff that's other people writing about him and his work. So yeah, this is kind of a fun thing for us. We're, pulling out the books and enjoying them as we're putting them in this spreadsheet. So if you guys had fun, let us know. And we have a lot more books to get through. So if this is a stream that you enjoyed, let me know. Probably later this week, we'll do a Lego chill stream. I think we're on bag 37 of 45 for Lego Rivendell. These are the completed sections. We've got a huge piece here that we're currently working on. Very, very last thing in the build is the actual council. So we're slowly building towards that. And then, of course, we are currently working on our Christmas anthology. And we'll tell you guys more about that later. But that's kind of what we're up to lately. Anything you want to say, babe?
Nope.
All right. I'll sign off then. Thank you guys so much for coming. And let us know if you guys have a favorite Tolkien book or edition that you guys have found. I like talking about that kind of thing. So, all right. Have a good night.